Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and today in this video, I'll be showing you how to install the TST Industries brake light modulator on your bike. Now, a brake light modulator, sometimes called a strobe, sometimes called a brake light flasher, what it does is basically enables you to install some electronics on your bike so that when you press your brakes, the brake light flashes in some kind of pattern and alerts the drivers behind you that you will be stopping. Our particular brake light modulator comes pre-wired to a plug that interfaces with a sub harness that we provide specific to your bike model that enables plug-and-play functionality with your bike. So that means that the installation is really fast and you can do it yourself. Now, the electronics inside, we do have the ability for you to program this unit to 3 different functions and then subsequently adjust the rate of the effect to your liking. Our first programmable mode is strobe alert. This mode will produce 9 flashes and then stay solid for the duration of the brake engagement. Second one is intermittent pulsar. Each cycle will flash 10 times and then pause, and then these cycles will repeat for the duration of the brake engagement. The last available option is pulsar, and this one just basically provides continuous flashing for the duration of the brake engagement. Now we will show you how to install this. It's really simple. And then after the installation chunk, I will show you in detail how to get inside here, how to program the different modes, and how to alter the rate of those different modes. We did think about the safety of such devices during the design phase. So we decided to design this in a way that it will be a pass-through component. In case you experience a failure on board here, it will just pass through your normal brake function, which means you press your brake light lights up, there's just no effect. In case you do experience that failure, we do offer a warranty, so we have guys standing by in our support department that will take your call, email, Facebook message, whatever, and we'll get you replaced. And that's pretty much it. I'm really excited to show you guys just how easy this is to put on and configure. So let's get started.
In today's video, we are going to be installing our TST brake light modulator on this brand new 2022 Yamaha R7. Now, I should state that there is an easy way of doing this and there is a more intricate way of doing this to kind of tuck everything to the side. We will be showing you the more advanced method. If you feel comfortable and you're okay with consuming some trunk space, you can do the easy method. It's very quick, you don't need to really take off any body panels, and that's your choice. But to begin, either way, you will have to start by removing the passenger seat. Once you have the passenger seat off, you want to go ahead and grab your tool, which should be a 4mm hex key, and begin by removing these top 4 bolts on the outer tail fairings. Please note these bolts do have collars pre-installed on them. You don't want to lose them. With those 4 top bolts removed from the outer fairings, you can go ahead and remove this 5th bolt, which is on the center tailpiece. That is also a 4mm hex head. And you can go ahead and remove that. Now with that free, you do want to remove this pretty funny tool Yamaha has included on your bike. It's a single 5mm hex key. Just go ahead and remove that from its placeholder. As you can see, that has freed up a little bit of space here. Gives you some much needed wiggle room. But we'll take it a step further and also remove this upper bolt on the inner tail fairing pieces, which is located right behind the tail light. And that frees up quite a bit in this trunk compartment. Now you want to take a small pick tool of sorts and pop these push pin rivets in. That way you can remove this center seat cowl that is located between the rider seat and the passenger cowl. And now with that center tail cowl removed, you can grab a 5mm hex key or the one Yamaha provided you and remove the rider seat. Now be sure as you begin removing these bolts Because this is such a thin bike, Yamaha really did consume a lot of the space, which makes it very, very easy for you to lose bolts. Please be sure, as you feel the threads getting light and the bolt starting to wiggle freely, put a hand on it. You do not want to lose any of these bolts in this trunk compartment. Now at this point, you want to remove these two push pin rivets, which are located underneath the rider seat. I'm going to go ahead and grab your pick tool again and just push them through gently, not forcing them. And you can remove them from the slotted holes that they're located in. All right, and you can see that's quite a bit of wiggle room. We can take it a step further. There are two located underneath the tail light, but I think for now that gives us enough room to get our hands inside. And the plug you want to remove is located on the red tail light housing on the back side of it. It is a 3-position black connector. You're going to want to simply apply pressure onto the tab and then pull it back towards the front of the bike. That will release it from the locking tab. And now with the connector removed from the OEM taillight, you can actually take the sub harness, which is included with the purchase of our plug and play kit for the Yamaha R7, and insert the gray connector on the sub harness into the black connector on the bike side of the harness located on your motorcycle. You're going to want to apply quite a bit of pressure, make sure it seats. You hear a click, that means that it is locked in properly. At this point, you can take the black connector found on our sub harness and connect it to the taillight. And while you're installing this, while you're applying pressure, you do want to hold the taillight in place. At this point, there's nothing securing the taillight to the bike other than a push pin. And if you apply enough pressure, it can actually come straight out of the bike. So if you want to do that, make it even easier, you can do so. And you can see here, this is the connector that you want to release the OEM plug from and then connect ours on the sub harness to. If you remove the taillight from your bike, at this point you can simply snake the wires back through towards the front of the bike, including our sub harness. And when doing so, you want to be sure that the push pin located on the back of the tail light right here, this friction fastener, is also seating properly in the housing. All right, and the very last, second to last step at this point is to actually connect the brake light, TST Brake Light Modulator to the white connector found on your bike. And you can do so by simply inserting it in the correct position. Make sure this locking tab found on the sub harness sits in this slotted portion of the brake light modulator. And again, can push until you hear a click. And now with that connected, before you begin reassembling all of this, all of the plastics and the seats and such, you want to actually test your work. Make sure that the fruits of your labor are enjoyable. Take your key out of your passenger seat, turn the ignition on into accessory mode, place your hand behind your taillight and apply pressure to your brakes. You can actually see that it is now strobing, and as demonstrated, you can adjust that if you find the need. At this point, we know our work is correct. We can begin the reinstallation process, but first, we will want to grab our handy zip ties, which are included in this kit, and secure the brake light modulator to a secure component in the tail section. All right, but before we go ahead and secure the brake light modulator to these frame components, you do want to go ahead and give yourself a little bit more wiggle room. As you can see, we can spread these tail fairings apart, but to make it a little bit easier, you're going to want to go ahead and grab your 4mm hex key again and remove this single bolt located underneath the rider seat. And you're also going to want to go ahead and grab a 10mm socket on a ratchet and remove this bolt. And finally, we have two push pin rivets. One is located on the top and the other one is actually located underneath the tail fairings. So you're going to want to go ahead and remove those two as well. And lastly, there's a single 4mm hex key bolt. You'll want to remove that one. Those are all the fasteners which hold the tail fairing in place. With those all removed, you can apply a little bit of pressure, and as you can see, this entire tail section begins to come apart, giving you a lot of wiggle room. That's really all we need. At this point, you can go ahead and grab one of your zip ties, take the brake light modulator, and secure it to the frame component. And as you're routing this zip tie and securing the brake light modulator to the frame, you want to keep note that this channel located on the brake light modulator is actually functional, and it's meant to secure the zip tie that you will be using to secure this to the frame. So as you route this through, you want to make sure you are engaging and seating the zip tie on that piece. So again, we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room here. Just loosen everything up a bit. And that gives us enough room so we can now route the zip tie through the frame. As you can see, I have it looped around here. Now I will route it around the brake light modulator. And voila. You're gonna wanna go ahead and cut off your excess zippy. Simply cut off the excess, and you can begin the reinstallation process. You have a lot of friction fasteners back here, so you do want to make sure that everything is seated properly. All right, looks like everything has come together real nicely, and we are going to simply begin reinstalling all of these fasteners. For all of the push pin fasteners, when you remove them, they are pressed in. When you reinstall them, you want them protruding out. So what you'll do is you'll push on the bottom gently, allowing the top to pop out, and then you will insert it into its space and press down, securing it in place. And be sure, as always, you do not over tighten any of these bolts. That will cause quite a bit of a headache. Now these tricky bolts for the rider seat, they'll probably give you the biggest headache. So again, you just want to make sure that you start off by hand as much as possible, or with your hand on it, so it doesn't fall in to the abyss. You want to take your center seat cowl, and there are some teeth here. These slide onto these notched features here, and then these posts sit underneath these as well. So have some patience, and you'll be able to get everything seated properly, like so. Make sure everything is sitting properly. And this center fairing on top of the tail light, it actually has a notch here. You want to make sure that the tail light, notched portion of the tail light, is locked in. And lastly, I'm going to grab these collared bolts. Make sure you do not lose the collars as you're reinstalling them. Begin by hand threading them as always. Cannot stress that enough. Finalize it with your tool, bottom out, and just go a hair past that. These do touch the paint on your tail fairings, so you definitely don't want to over tighten them. And with that, this installation is just about complete, but first you want to take that handy dandy tool that Yamaha has included and reinstall that. And finally, take your passenger seat and reinstall that as well. And this installation is now complete.
For mode selection and rate adjustment, we will need to get inside this capsule to access the electronics. These two Phillips head screws will need to be removed. What I like to do is unscrew them until they disengage from their receiving threads and leave them in the cap. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to lose them. If we pull them off with the cap, they are self-captive. All right, now we'll identify the parts here. This button is the mode selector, and this potentiometer is your rate adjuster. Clockwise is faster, counterclockwise is slower. Let's first do our selection of modes. With the brake pressed, press the button once to toggle to the next available program. Now the brake does have to be pressed so that the unit powers up, otherwise you won't be able to make the selection. If you find that you've pressed the button but the selection has not been changed, just do it again with the brake pressed. So now we will go on to the next program, press the brake once more, press the button once, and now you're in the next mode. Now we've switched twice, so pressing it one more time will return to the original mode that your unit arrived in. Now for rate adjustment, we'll be using the potentiometer. With the brake pressed, you can turn it clockwise to make it go faster, counterclockwise to decrease the rate. Now in brake alert, you will only have 9 flashes to make your adjustment, and then it'll stay solid. This one doesn't actually lend itself to really fast flashing at the top of the range. Bottom of the range is unusable, so I like to set it somewhere towards 3/4 to maybe 80% clockwise, and that does it for me. Now if we change to the next one, this one is pulsar, and this one just keeps on flashing, so I like to have it going pretty fast here. Choice is really up to you. If you want to explore the next mode, we have the intermittent pulsar. This one to me belongs somewhere close to the top of the range, makes it the most visible. But again, freedom means choice. The decision is ultimately up to you. Once you're done with your adjustment and you're where you want to be with all your modes and rates, replace the cap, turn the screws back in, and it really is just that simple. Replace your brake light modulator in the space that you decided to keep it, and you're good to go.